I've been writing code for 40 years and I'm trying to understand what are the benefits of Salesforce DX. Scouring the internet and reading the books shows there is a plethora of technologies and concepts bound up in Salesforce DX. But how do you actually use it? So firstly, here's a quick summary of the benefits I'm looking for from Salesforce DX. The developer org is what you use to create packages and used to be where I would edit the code, custom objects, field, etc., etc. Visual Studio Code is my preferred IDE for editing code, but one of the key new features of Salesforce DX is the Scratch org. Using Salesforce DX, we can download both the code and the metadata to your local drive using Visual Studio Code. Then you can create a Scratch org and deploy the code and metadata, creating a copy of your developer org, much like a sandbox. Then you can use Visual Studio Code to edit the Apex and deploy the edits to the Scratch org, and log on to the Scratch org to edit the fields, page layouts, etc., etc., and then pull those changes back to the local drive. Then once you are happy with all the changes, you can deploy them back to the main developer org. This means you can have multiple developers working on the same project, each with their own Scratch org, without the risk of breaking anything. And if you are using GitHub, you can use this to manage version control between the different developers. There are a couple of things you need to set up to use Salesforce DX. First, you need a developer hub, which can be set up in a licensed production org or a partner business org. Follow this link in the description to join the Salesforce Partner Program. Log into the Partner Business org and click on Setup. Key Dev in the Quick Find and choose Dev Hub. These are the settings I've got for this first exercise. Next, you need to get Visual Studio Code set up with the Salesforce DX extensions. This is Visual Studio Code. The Salesforce Command Line Interface, or CLI, is key to Salesforce DX. The CLI is installed on your computer and sits in between Visual Studio Code and the Salesforce org. CLI commands can be accessed by right-clicking the context menu. The command palette is accessed through the View menu or using Ctrl-Shift-P. It gives you access to the more commonly used commands. You can use the Visual Studio Code terminal to access all the CLI commands. And you can use the command line in the same way. But this also gives you the option to use a shell command to execute multiple commands. Now we have everything set up. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can do a simple round trip from developer org to Scratch org and then back.